Today I'm excited to bring you a discussion around premiums using some real historic premium data which was kindly supplied to me by my friends at OneGold and APMEX. I use and highly recommend both companies. To check out OneGold, please click on the link in the video description. The data is for 4 of the most popular items sold by APMEX: the Gold Eagle, the Gold Maple, the Silver Eagle, and the Buffalo Silver Round. Since APMEX is one of the largest gold and silver retail brokers in the world, I'm sure this information is going to be of great interest to my community. To set the stage, let's start by taking a look at the gold spot price starting in mid-2007. I'm using the Lbma PM fix because it's data that's available on a daily basis, and it's one of the key benchmarks that's used in gold pricing. We can see that despite the nearly 5-year pullback in price from 2011 to the end of 2015, the general trend in the gold price in US dollars has been up. A person who saved in gold, provided he or she was able to stomach the volatility, would have been happier with the result of saving in gold than saving in US dollars. Now, I certainly know that I was. But here's the problem. We can't just buy gold at spot. This is especially true when we're talking about retail products. We typically pay a premium to the dealer. Let's see what we would have paid APMEX for a 1-ounce random date gold eagle over this period of time. Here's the comparison against the spot price. Long-term accumulators of precious metals will not be surprised by this chart. There's always a premium to be paid to the dealer. The premium covers much more than just the dealer's profit. It covers the cost of their employees, it covers their buildings and infrastructure, it covers their utilities. Profit is a portion, but it's generally fairly small. Sometimes it amazes me that we can get gold eagles for as close to spot as we sometimes can. I remember some days when I was able to get a gold eagle for less than 3% over spot. Memories. Of course, there are additional costs that may need to be paid. If a person wants to pay with a credit card instead of a check or a bank wire, there will also be a convenience fee attached to offset the charge that the credit card company levies on the retailer. Some retailers will also charge for shipping, and some will have to collect sales tax depending upon where the buyer is located. All of these additional costs can make a gold eagle much more expensive than what's shown here. Now, one of the challenges a precious metal investor faces is managing frictional costs. And when I talk about frictional cost, what I mean is the difference between the cost of buying the precious metal and what a person would receive for selling it back right away. As I'm making this video, the premium on a 1-ounce random date gold eagle is about $180, and that's historically very high. Now, when a person sells a gold eagle back to a retailer, they aren't going to get $180 over spot. They'll get an offer that's much closer to the spot price. Now, the amount of premium a person can recover will depend upon what retailer they try to resell it to and how many eagles are offered for sale. The difference in price between what you have to pay and what you can get back when you sell it is your spread. And it represents the retailer's profit, but it also covers the cost to keep them in business and keep the lights on. In general, the price that you will receive for your coin will be much closer to spot than the price that you paid. So, what if a person doesn't want to pay $180 over spot? What can they do? Well, one solution is to seek another gold product. Let's take a look now at Canadian maples. Okay, I added the price of random year Canadian maples to the chart, and this is what APMEX has been charging for these coins, provided they were paid for by using a check or a bank wire. Notice the price has been very close to that of the gold eagle, but generally a little bit lower. Right now, the premium on the maples is around $110, which is $70 less than the premium on the eagle. Now, a word of caution is warranted here. Just because a gold maple can be purchased less expensively than a gold eagle does not necessarily make it a better product to buy. When you buy a product, it's important to have a good sense for the buyback price, and this is something that only comes with experience. I recommend periodically testing the market from time to time by asking a retailer what they are offering for certain coins. Now let's turn our attention to a more alarming trend in premiums, and that is in the silver market. Let's start by taking a look at the Lbma daily silver fix going back to mid-2007. We can see the rapid escalation and decline in the price of silver that occurred between 2010 and 2013. However, if we focus on the rest of the data, the price of silver in US dollars has been gradually going up. Now let's ask ourselves now what it would have cost over this time period to obtain random date silver eagles. Again, I'll use the data supplied by OneGold and APMEX. And here it is. One of the stark features of this chart is the gap between the price of the retail product and spot. The gap is much larger than it was for gold. And this was also the case back in the late 1990s and early 2000s when I started buying silver eagles. There's just a higher premium on a percentage basis because the coins are much more expensive to handle. There's no getting around that. Notice though that the gap has been growing. Before the year 2014, the premium generally hovered between 10 and 15%, except for some periods of time when it would spike higher. Between 2014 and 2020, premiums tended to fluctuate between 15 and 25%. But now the premium on the Silver Eagle is astronomically high. We're talking more than 50%. Unless a person is certain to be able to sell back for a price much higher than spot, it generally makes much more sense to select a different bullion product. And let's now turn our attention to the generic bullion Buffalo round. As we can see, Buffalo rounds have historically been much less expensive than Silver Eagles, and this should come as no surprise to anyone. Again, I should be clear that this does not necessarily mean that the silver round is a better product to buy than the Silver Eagle. At any point in time, the buyback price of each product is going to be different. It's much more likely, though, that a person will be able to sell a Silver Eagle back at a higher price than a Buffalo round, so the actual spread on these products is going to be lower than what is shown here. Let's now look at the premiums for all four of the gold and silver products in terms of percentages over spot. And here's where I think the trends become really interesting. And here they are, all in one chart. As we can see, the premium for gold products has generally been lower than that for the silver products. No surprise here, especially since the premiums here shown for the silver products are for 1 ounce at a time. You buy many more ounces at a time and you get a lower price. But anyway, historically a 1 ounce gold eagle or maple could be purchased for less than 6% over spot, with the maple being less expensive than the eagle. Ever since early 2020, the premiums on gold products have been much higher. Right now, the eagles are about 10% over spot, whereas the maples are about 6% over spot. When we look at the silver products, we can see that the premiums have come up over time quite a bit more. Before 2020, a person could have purchased Buffalo rounds for between 5 and 10% over spot. Now they're more than 20. Before 2020, a person could have purchased Silver Eagles for less than 20% over spot, and depending upon when they were purchased, of course. Now they command a very high premium of over 50%. Now, I don't know if these premiums are going to come down, at least not anytime soon. I certainly hope they will. It's hard to imagine a person can do well by purchasing an item for more than 50% of its underlying commodity value. But then, I have to acknowledge that there are some collector coins that have done quite well in the past, but buying numismatic items is very different than buying bullion items. It requires a special kind of skill. And Silver Eagles, like it or not, unless they're in perfect condition, they are bullion items. Now, and a person who wants to trade the gold to silver ratio? Well, good luck doing it with such high premiums. These frictional costs make the gold to silver trade very difficult. Even if the gold to silver ratio were to return to a level of, say, 60, the frictional cost will eat away at any profit that otherwise could have been had. So, what's the solution? In this environment, I like OneGold. Take a look at the premiums. A person can buy gold for 0.8% over spot and silver for 2% over spot. That means that the round trip is going to be much less expensive than for retail products, especially if a person is also paying shipping for the retail. Now, there are other companies that a person can go to buy professionally vaulted gold and silver, but this is the company that I've personally chosen to do business with. And while I can't say what's right for you, I do recommend that you check them out if the premiums that you're paying on gold and silver retail products are too high for your liking. And if you do decide to do business with them, you can keep your money in the metal while waiting for premiums to come down. And when the premiums do come down, you can take delivery of retail product because of OneGold's unique relationship with APMEX. If you're interested in learning more, please click on the link in this description. So thanks for your attention. I hope you liked this look at gold and silver premiums. I could not have brought them to you if it weren't for my affiliate relationship with OneGold. So I'd personally like to take a second to thank Patrick Yip for making this data available. Thank you, Patrick.